If the entertainment industry is a sinking ship, then Mindy Kaling is stood smugly, smirking whilst directing all of the panicking passengers onto a lifeboat made entirely out of Swiss cheese.
Oh, wow, this show is so... It's not even just bad, it's like bafflingly bad.
Today we're looking at the newly developed torture technique by HBO, and it's named Velma.
They're the same old gang that the fan base knows and loves.
Sick!
Except, completely different in almost every way.
What?
Velma, the show I had very little expectations for, yet somehow still felt disappointed by it.
I mean, this is real. This is a thing which actually got made. Someone wrote all of this stuff down.
What I've just done today, this brave stunt, is basically diving on a live grenade in order to shield you from the unbearable, insufferable cringe of this show.
Who wants this? Who asked for this? I have no clue. Nobody likes it.
Real gentleman. He came on the show and we had to do this flashback sequence where we were in bed together in college. And we're just supposed to be having a conversation, but and he asked me a question, I was not listening to him at all, because who cares what he was saying? And I was just like, And then he reacted like that, and I pretended it didn't happen. And then I walked backstage where we have two writer-producers, and they were like, hey man, what are you doing? You could be sued for that. And I got very scared, and then I said, tell anyone and you're fired.
Velma Season 2 has just been set for release on April 25th. If you perhaps haven't heard of this pitiful excuse for a show called Velma, I envy you. For the record, I have never seen Velma. I will never see Velma. Not even as a hate watch, which is apparently the only thing that this steaming pile of horseshit has going for it. This show was so pathetic that everyone who watched it did it out of spite. The executives at HBO saw this and made the misinterpretation of the century. They took this universal hatred and made a decision so insulting to their paying customers, it would make Bobby Kotick blush. Your local club douchebag could take a better hint than HBO. Never once have I seen all sides of the political spectrum unite in such a fascinating way. Mindy Kaling Weinstein has created the impossible, a united internet. But before I spread my pink ass and unload my bowels on HBO, I'm here to let you know that this video is for me. This represents years of pent-up anger and aggression towards the film industry that I'm finally vomiting onto a script for your enjoyment. So without further ado, go ahead and stick 9-inch nails in each one of your eyelids, wipe your face with a cheese grater, and let's get right into it. I'm not claiming to have ever been a die-hard fan of Scooby-Doo. Well, except of course for this masterpiece. And I also was not aware that Scooby-Doo has been so popular since it was created. There have been about 87,250 different adaptations of the talking dog and his gang, from movies to comics to theatrical performances. Yes, really. Which is why it was only natural that someone somewhere along the way was bound to come and take a giant dump on this beloved IP. And that someone happens to be everyone's favorite sexual harasser, Mindy Kaling. You of course might know her from The Office, and if you've seen any of my previous videos, then you know that I love The Office. Mindy Kaling was not just an actress on the show, but she was also a writer. In fact, she is the one who wrote the most episodes out of anyone else in the writer's room. Which is why when I found out that she was taking her skills to HBO to create a new adult cartoon version of Scooby-Doo, I was pretty psyched. For 15 minutes, Mindy Kaling managed not only to turn the entire internet against her even before the show premiered, but also managed to destroy every ounce of respect that I had for her in the process. First and foremost, Mindy created controversy online for race swapping the characters we all know and love. Velma was made Indian. Gee, I wonder why. Shaggy, or Norville, was made black. Daphne was made Asian. Fred was kept the same. And Scooby-Doo, the main attraction, was just left for dead and scrapped for parts. Shortly after the premiere of the first episode at the New York Comic-Con in 2022, there was a lot of backlash over this. Mindy said herself, "I think of the characters in this as so iconic, but in no way is the gang defined by their whiteness, except for Fred." I kinda agree with that. I don't think anyone ever stated that what made these characters special was the fact that they're white. Oh! And this really wouldn't be that much of a problem if we at least got the characters that we all love. Which we didn't. What we got instead was the Mindy Kaling vanity project. Velma is selfish, arrogant, unpleasant, and vindictive. She is every part that we hate of Mindy Kaling, thrown into a blender and shoved down our throats without consent. Norville is a completely new character that we have never seen before, and the only thing this cardboard cutout has in common with Shaggy is the green t-shirt. Oh, by the way, this time Velma isn't in love with Shaggy. Now it's Shaggy being in love with Velma. Because of course, what could be more attractive than this heaping pile of narcissistic diarrhea?
I care that you accused my dad of being a serial killer without even telling me.
I know, but I saw the welder's mask and freaked out. And I wanted you to finish the headline about me for the paper. Which, did you? Because I couldn't help but notice you had time for a board game.
This is unbelievable.
Daphne is a drug dealer mean girl with lesbian mothers. And the fact that I just said that sentence out loud makes me want to lick the cold steel of a shotgun. And lastly, we come to Fred, who is made the butt of every single racist and unfunny joke in the show, aka all of them.
Which white actors are descended from slave owners? Why wouldn't he? If I were a rich white dude, I'd kill everybody just to get away with it. That's some white people shit. White girl with too much money?
Shut the fuck up. Let me die in peace.
He is white, rich, and spoiled, which means he literally cannot function as a human being. Every cell in his body is made fun of by our favorite comedian, Velma, because of the color of his skin.
Fred's a rich white guy with a tiny dong.
If you find these character descriptions unappealing, congratulations! You have now experienced the climax of Mindy Kaling's caliber of comedy. And I haven't even gotten to the actual show! So, here goes. The overall theme is this is an origin story for the mystery gang in their teenage years. Velma starts investigating a string of murders in her high school that all seem to point to Fred. Not only that, but she also investigates her mother's disappearance from a few years earlier. And that is about as much as I care to dwell into this story. It's an amalgamation of humorless apathy that HBO canceled every other show to make. And the worst part of this pile of shit is, you guessed it, Mindy Kaling. Velma, and what Mindy Kaling believes passes for comedy, which is making fun of adult cartoons and people that watch them.
That's what you call ironic.
The current state of society and entertainment.
I thought lesbians were good at solving crimes. It's like the one positive stereotype perpetuated by cop shows. On TV shows, the malt shop owner is always a friendly black man or a spicy and meatball Italian.
And acting like she's better than everyone else. And wouldn't you know it, she actually is.
Look, I know you're a genius.
Thank you.
Who thinks she has everyone pegged.
Only because I do.
The second worst part of the show is the complete disregard for the source material. This has about as much in common with Scooby-Doo as World War Z had with the frickin' book, which is nothing but the name. Take these characters out of context and remove their names, and the show just implodes. The only reason why anyone even bothered to watch this torture was because it was loosely based on Scooby-Doo. And I don't think that it's a coincidence that this show was greenlit 1 year after the original creators Joe Ruby and Ken Spears passed away. I don't think they would have a real say in whether the show would be made or not, but I doubt they'd approve. So instead, Mindy Kaling did the honorable thing. She waited until they were both 6 feet under so she could spit in their graves and their legacy. And this ties in with one of the worst aspects of the show, the race swapping.
Attention. We are now at DEFCON 1.
Dude, I'm gonna be bold as fuck when I say this. I hate race swapping characters. And I'm going to explain why.
You are treading on some mighty thin ice here.
Society has never been more diverse than it is today, and it's important to celebrate that diversity in movies, TV shows, or really any form of entertainment. Movies like The Butler, The Help, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, 12 Years a Slave, and believe it or not, Barbie, are among my personal favorites that tell a compelling story, and part of what makes them so special is the characters' diversity. It gives us a different slice of life when we dwell into the lives of a different gender or ethnicity that we wouldn't normally appreciate had we not seen this particular story. And the ones that are based on real events make it that much more impactful. Which leads me to my final point. If studios really cared about diversity, which they don't, they would give these diverse characters their own unique stories, and I would love to see that. But that requires time and money and effort, and none of those things are being produced in Hollywood today. Why have an original story based on the struggles of a different ethnic group when you can just slap a different race on a character that's already been established and call it a day? And if you're still not convinced, I'm going to pull my trap card.
Sorry to disappoint you, Yugi. Huh? You triggered my trap card!
If you genuinely believe that the casting for The Little Mermaid was anything else than a ploy to gain free publicity online through rage, then I will revert you to this other princess right here. Halle Bailey is a beautiful, talented young actress who shows a lot of promise. So why then was she not cast for Princess and the Frog? Why isn't there even a remake for Princess and the Frog? For the same reason that Mindy Kaling didn't bother to make her own original story. To which she said this. So I was a little bit surprised, and I think most Indian American girls, when they see this skeptical, hardworking, kind of underappreciated character, can identify with her. It would appear that Mindy Kaling wants to tell an underdog story about a young Indian girl to encourage others like her. That sounds pretty cool. So why didn't we get that? Why Scooby-Doo? Why Velma?
What do I look like, a guy who's not lazy?
In conclusion, Velma is the prime example of everything wrong with modern Hollywood. Apathetic storytelling, a cast of bland and charmless characters, and overall one of the worst experiences I have ever had the pleasure of not experiencing. Every single decision for this show, I would have done
the exact reverse opposite of that.
At this point, I'm not even mad. I'm just disappointed.
Dad?
But thank you so very much for watching the video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you're wondering why my voice sounds a little bit funny, well, that's because I've spent the last 72 hours trapped in a cave playing Helldivers 2. Let me know in the comments below if you want to see a video of Helldivers 2 or maybe a stream. We also have plenty of other videos already on the channel ready for you to watch, with the latest upload being my first ever playthrough of Outlast. Go ahead and check it out right up here. Also, make sure to hit that big red button underneath so you don't miss a single update on the channel, as well as leave a like and a comment of what other videos you'd like to see in the future. But thank you so much once again for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Sweaty ass cheek.